Deadlock has over 10 unreleased heroes in the game files that you can actually try out for yourself. This is one of them named Cadence. Of course, many of the unreleased details will change, but let's take a look at a few of their abilities. I'm going to show you how you can try out every single hero for yourself in the game files. All you want to do is press F7 or go into the console and put in select hero. It won't show up as a command, but then you just want to put in hero underscore pretty much any unreleased hero name. One of them is Bomber, which here we go and we'll check it out. It uses the default NPC model, and same thing for the abilities. It's one of the heroes that's very incomplete, as there's really nothing here for us really to look at except some sort of icons, while the other abilities don't really do much, at least right now. As his codename's Bomber, it also seems like his in-game name, at least at the moment, is also Bomber, and this is really just one of them that you can try out for yourself in the game, but is extremely incomplete at the moment. Next up, we have Cadence, one of my favorite heroes which are in the game file. I think this one's pretty funny. This one's a lot more complete, as you can see, compared to the last hero we went over. It actually has a model, and some of the details of the abilities are in. Like, ability number 1 is Anthem. Ability number 2 is Silence Contraptions. Number 3 is Lullaby. And number 4 is Crescendo. Trying out the abilities, you notice number 1... yes, that is music that plays in the game. That's not background music, which, going by the details, seems like it will just be some area of effect boost. Number 2 is Silent Contraptions, which, as you can see, just disarms the enemy. I also disarmed myself there. Number 3 seems like it'll put them to sleep and then also give you some sort of health regen. Number 4 is Crescendo. We'll try it out over here. Oh, I'm getting beat up. But is obviously still missing a bunch of animations, which is why it looks pretty weird when you're playing with them in the game. Next up, though, we have Nano. As you'll notice, a lot more complete compared to Cadence or even Bomber. Actually has animations in the game files, a little bit of a full-on model. You also see this hero in the top also has an icon, and Calico or Nano already has a set of builds that you can sort of use in the game. Now, the first ability is Perched Predator, which is where you can send a spirit cat forward that grabs targets in its way. Grabbing a hero will cause an explosion soon after. Press 1 to manually create the explosion. There is then Siamese Strike. Targeting an enemy will cause damage and slow on nearby enemies. Targeting an ally will have reduced cooldown and recharge times. Deadly Decor. Spawn a statue that life steals from a nearby enemy, giving health to itself and Calico. Statues are activate only when Calico is nearby. And then for the ultimate, Queen of Shadows. There isn't really any description here, but we'll be able to check it out. Ability number 1, straight up just throws the target backwards. That's pretty cool. We'll try it this way. Seemed like they got stuck there. I don't think that was supposed to happen. We'll try it this way. This is a pretty nice ability. So if someone's like pushing you, sort of push them back like that. I actually like that ability. Number 2. Or just smack on somebody. So this is what the statue looks like. Ability number 3, when you activate it right by an enemy, can you put 2 of them down at the same time? This will be the real question. There we go. So it just ran out of time. It seemed to have went on for around like a minute. I think it's a little bugged out because I think it's shooting that guy through the wall. I don't know if that's supposed to happen. But as you notice, Calico or Nano is very far completed, especially compared to some of the other heroes that are in the game files. So it seems like this one may release pretty soon. Definitely a pretty cool hero to check out if you want to and play with your friends in a game. Next up, we have Gunslinger. Some pretty cool is a little bit of a cowboy look. Not as completed as, let's say, Nano or Calico, but does have a pretty nice looking model so far. No animations, but we can see some of the names of his abilities, including Rapid Fire, Rocket Launcher, Tenacity, and Sleep Bomb. So Rapid Fire, it seems like you'll be able to select an enemy, and it will just automatically fire at them. Or 2, sort of a big blast. Rocket Launcher will bang. See how far it can go. Let's see if I can hit this guy over here. There we go. Oh, it blasted him up like that. Number 3 seems to be sort of a passive ability that will just be going on at all times. Unsure what the upgrades will do, but then there's also Sleep Bomb, which will just throw them to sleep. Seems to actually put it on for a decent enough time. Here we have Astro or Holiday, another hero that is very complete and may potentially see a release soon. You will just go up here, check out the abilities. There is no builds, but you can see their model right here. It's a little bit of a smaller hero compared to the other ones. You can see it sort of reaches just above their shoulders. Same thing for an Abrams. Astro sort of just reaches right under the shoulder. Very short. For the abilities though, number 1 is powder keg. Place a barrel that explodes when shot or on landing after launched via melee attack or bounce pad. Has a minimal arm time before it can explode. Ability number 2 is bounce pad. Drop a bounce pad in the world that sends you and other heroes flying. You will stomp down on landing, dealing damage to an enemy nearby. Number 3 is hat trick. Throw her hat to strike enemies, slowing and revealing them through walls. Number 4 is spirit lasso. Grab an enemy with your lasso and drag them along behind you. The enemy is stunned and Astro is slowed slightly during the lasso. Lasso duration is paused for 2 seconds during the first usage of a bounce pad. So let's go ahead and place a bounce pad right over here. There we go. And works sort of very similar to how you would expect it to. Just launches you in any direction, and then you have this sort of blast effect when you land. Let's try to land on top of Abrams right over here so we can try to see how much damage we can do. It did around like half a bar, I think. Alright, let's just check out the hero over here. We'll try to land on some of these minions, see how much damage it does. It does like just around half HP to a minion. I believe number 1 is powder keg. Place a barrel that explodes when shot or landing after launched via melee. We'll try to place it over here. The Donkey Kong barrel. This is nice. Here we go. We'll try to get a nice little bowling action. So it says you can explode it by shooting it. So we'll try that out here. Oh, this could be used pretty nicely. Ability number 3 is throw her hat to strike enemies, slowing and revealing them through walls. Alright, if you're potentially wondering what ability number 3 looks like, we'll check it out right here. Bam, throw a hat. As you notice, you get to see... Whoa, chill out, buddy. You get to see the enemy through the wall. We'll try it out over here. You just throw the hat, and you can sort of just see the enemy. If you are wondering if you can see multiple enemies, we'll try to place another one. Sort of just only hits one of them, as you can see right here. If you're wondering how the bounce pad works on multiple enemies, and hits all of them. Number 1, actually does a good amount of damage. Grab an enemy with your lasso and drag them along behind you. You have to be semi-close, but you can sort of just drag somebody with you. Pretty cool. It's similar to Bebop, but it looks like they won't be able to sort of dodge it other than sort of just trying to run away. Not bad. This is Astro, or otherwise known as Holiday. Next up though, we have Kali. This is sort of an animal type with a shotgun hanging at its feet. Obviously just very incomplete at the moment, but we can check out some of the abilities, including Oculo Blade, Pack Hunter, Dust Storm, and also Trapper's Delight. And for their abilities, let's check them out. That was number 1. Number 2 seems to be a little bit of a boost. Then we have Dust Storm, place it on the enemy there, and then sort of goes around like that. So wait, let's place it over here and see what it does after it sort of moves around and if it hits multiple enemies. Yeah, so it sort of just moves around and the enemies would sort of have to dodge it looks like, or sort of continues traveling after it's done hitting the enemy. Number 4, for Trapper's Delight, you got to be pretty close to the enemy, and it just hits them over time. We then have Mirage, a hero which is pretty far through. A lot of details are here for this hero. You notice we have a full-on model right here in the store. Builds are already available, and a lot of the abilities are here for us to look at. So Mirage's ability number 1 is called Tornado, where you can send out a tornado that damages enemies and lifts them up in the air. Here it is. As you can see, it sort of just throws them up. See how far we can... There we go. But as you notice, it actually hit that guy all the way back there. It sort of just continues traveling. That seems like it has a very far distance. Then there is the Fire Beetle. Start launching Fire Beetles. Each beetle can be launched separately, applying a lifesteal over time to enemies they hit. Once the launch window ends, this ability goes on cooldown. Here you go. Seems like you can sort of just throw them out like that. And then it gives them a little bit of a hit effect afterwards. Become enveloped in a whirlwind, gaining bullet evasion and bonus movement speed. You go, yep, as you can see, you're sort of just boosted up. You can sort of see by looking at my feet. There you go. Then for number 4 is charge up and then launch a projectile that strikes the first enemy hero it hits, tethering it to up to 2 other enemy heroes nearby. Tethered heroes have their movement constrained to each other, having reduced bullet resistance and suffer a portion of the damage any of the other tethered heroes receive. Seems pretty insane. We'll try this out. Boom. As you can see, it tethers all 3 of them. And then if I just hit this guy, it is also damaging the other heroes. That is crazy. This has a lot of voice lines and stuff like that, which you can also sort of hear in the game. Next up, we have another hero. This is Rutger, or Rutger. A little bit less complete compared to the last one. No sort of builds in the game files. We can see their incomplete model right here. Ability number 1 is Rocket Launcher. force field, cheat death, and then pulse. We can actually check them out. Bang, blasts the enemy, number 1. Number 2 has a little bit of an effect. Here we go, and sort of boost them out. So we'll see what happens if I am in it and then he's also in at the same time, like this. As you can see, I sort of just blast them out like a force field, giving you a little bit of space for you to shoot. So if you sort of want to check out number 2, let's say we use it right here against this minion, you notice it blasts them out just like that, and he's sort of forced to fight you outside of the circle. Number 3 is cheat death, which seems to just automatically activate by itself when you sort of reach a low enough health. For number 4, pulse. Next we have slork, which is sort of a water-based hero a little bit, sort of a fish head. But as you'll notice, for their abilities, number 1 is Riptide, Chomp, Deep Embrace, and then Ambush Predator. Here we can check out number 1. It's sort of a water blast that just goes wherever you want. For number 2, you sort of connect onto an enemy and just burn them. And then for number 3, you turn and have like a little, you turn into a water and explode onto an enemy like that. The ultimate seems to sort of automatically activate after some time, which is sort of why you see them turn invisible, as we can see right here. This seems to be part of their ultimate that sort of just goes in automatically, which is why when you try to shoot, it disables, as you can see by that bar in the bottom. And then if we keep running long enough, it should start to come back. Now that we ran long enough, the ultimate is back. Here we have Thumper. I think this has to be probably the shortest hero we looked at so far. It actually has their model right here. No in-game details for the shop. No icons either. You notice it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Not even like some default ones that are thrown from other heroes. But they're called Shatter Cannon, Spike Strip, Badger Drone, and Vortex. Check out number 1. What in the world? We'll just place it on an enemy. We'll see what happens. Boom. There's a bit of an explosion. Ability number 2 was Spike Strip. If I had to guess, that's going to be hitting multiple enemies. Let's try to put multiple of them down. Hopefully the game doesn't crash. The game loves to crash when there's unreleased heroes. So we'll try this out like this. It's multiple enemies. I should have did it this way. We'll go like this. Well, boom. And then it hits all the enemies. That's a nice ability for number 2. Number 3 for Badger Drone. So it just locks onto one enemy and gives a lasting hit effect. Number 4 is Vortex. Throws them in huge multiple vortexes. So if you remember the tornado ability, it's a little bit similar, but this one has multiple and they're huge this time. Not a bad hero overall, but obviously very, very early and incomplete at the moment. Just look at my console right now. It's absolutely exploding. This next ability is Takac, a little bit of a blue robot. I guess to go with Bebop, you can see their character right here. No default builds are in the game like that yet, but we can check them out. Their abilities are Hot Shot, Dying Star, Blinding Radiance, and Pulse Cannon, with no descriptions for any of them, but there is a few upgrades that you can check out. Ability number 1 is Hot Shot. Seems to just fire at an enemy. Number 2 is Dying Star, which you sort of throw and you boost into them. See how far you can actually jump. So you have a sort of max. This is sort of as far as you can throw it right here. See, you jump into them and sort of deal some damage. Not bad. Number 3 is Blinding Radiance, which seems to just hit them if they are close enough. What you'll notice for his gun is it has a sort of heating power effect, which is a little bit different from the other heroes, where you'll see it has 0 heat power, 20, 50, 75, and then it overheats like that. Number 4 is Pulse Cannon. So I think I need to fire before it heats up. Like that. There we go. But I think the key is you don't want it to overheat and then you don't want it to underheat at the same time. Not a bad hero overall. You can see there is sort of no animations for the walking or anything like that, but there is a full blue model in the game. Next we have Yakuza, or the boss. Now for the game there is no builds, but their model is right here. There is no icons for the abilities, but we can check them out, including Shakedown, Hired Muscle, Protection Racket, and Setting Sun. It seems like my game is still bugged out from the last hero we looked at, so I'm just gonna have to leave for a second. All right, so for Shakedown, it seems like you'll be able to throw it in an ability. There you go. I think I was too close to that and it hit me. It seems like I can't even really move while that is hitting them. Number 2 is Hired Muscle. Hired Muscle seems like you can throw it onto a teammate or onto yourself, and it gives you an extra like helper. That is pretty nice. I'm trying to see if he will attack the same stuff I attack. I don't think so, but he will just sort of just follow me and push ahead. Not bad. Number 3 is Protection Racket. Seems to just be sort of a healing ability. Number 4 is Setting Sun. Seems to be a huge blast down effect. Overall, you can tell the boss is pretty incomplete and pretty early on in development, but you are able to check out some of their abilities here. Next up, though, it is Wrecker, who's actually pretty nicely complete, especially compared to a lot of the other ones. You'll notice when we go into the store with their build, their full model is here, and they already have default builds that you can check out. Obviously, Wrecker is not out yet, but a lot of the details are here for you to check out, including Wrecking Ball, which creates a large ball of scrap that can be thrown, damaging and stunning anything it hits. The ball takes time to create, and you move slower while carrying it. So it looks like this. There you go. As you can see, I'm sort of just carrying the ball right there, and then we can throw it, bang, and just knocks out the enemies like that. Actually a pretty cool ability. Let's see if I can time it and hit this guy. I need him to run. There we go. Boom, hit him. Consume. Stuns an enemy trooper or NPC, damaging them while held. A successful kill provides a fire rate bonus and restores a bio blast charge. This bonus stacks independently. So as you notice, I can't really hit models like this. We would need a little minion over here. Just lifts them like that. Need them to come farther along. So you just go like this. Lifts them like that. So here, if you can do it on one of these guys, and just stops them. There we go. Ability number 3 is Bioblast. Shoots out a blast of consumed remains, damaging and slowing enemies. Multiple hits increases the slow. We can go like this. It's a little bit of an area effect, maybe a little closer. There you go. You can see you hit both enemies. Not bad because we have multiple hits right there. Number 4 is launch a flying shadow copy of yourself that you control, teleporting your original body to wherever it lands. The teleport explosion slows enemies and deals damage based on how long you were flying. So we'll try this out. You can see you are legitimately flying right here. See if I can, bang, you can just blast down on the enemy like that. Actually pretty cool. Here we go. I did around 1.5 bars. So this is Wrecker, along with a bunch of other unreleased heroes that you can check out for yourself in the game files. Let me know which one was your favorite and you want to see released next.